Let's talk tension. On any sewing machine, tension seems to be blamed for a lot of things. Well, let me show you one thing about the Pfaff quilt expression 4.2 sewing machine. So number one, there's no tension dial. When you pick a stitch, it will get you into that tension ballpark that stitch needs. So for example, if I pick stitch number 4, which is a basting stitch, you want that stitch to come out. So it loosens the tension for you. On a buttonhole, the tension should pull to the back side, so you have prettier satin stitches on the top of a buttonhole. Look what the tension is. It's less. So that means that the bobbin is tighter, and so more of the top thread goes to the back side. If you're doing some free motion quilting, sometimes when you free motion quilt, you need to balance the stitch. So if the stitches, you're getting bobbin thread up to the top, then we need to loosen that tension. So when you're on a straight stitch, for adjusting your tension that starts at 4.6, you're going to go into the settings or picture where the tools are. And you'll notice that the first option is thread tension. The setting that it's saved for that stitch will show, but as soon as you arrow bigger to the right, the number will highlight. That would be making that tighter. And vice versa, if it goes the other way, then the top tension is looser and the bobbin is tighter. So how do you know which way to go? You will find that if you don't know, if you just make a change, it will either get worse or it will get better. But here's a little tip for you. So normal for this stitch is 4.6. If you know you need to kind of loosen the tension, if you change it to at least a whole number less, so take it down to 3.6 or even just a 3, that's a number and almost and a half, change and see if that is helping. That will make a difference. And if you need to go bigger, it's okay. Now tension is kind of defaulted for these numbers when the machine has the same thread in the needle as it does in the bobbin. So when you are working with different weights of thread, a different thread in your needle than you do in the bobbin, so sometimes when I free motion quilt, I might have a different color and a different thread altogether on either side. So yes, I'm going to have to balance out the tension so it looks the same on both sides. Now, here is a problem that everybody blames tension for. So on the top it looks like a straight stitch, but on the back it looks like a gigantic nest of thread, all those loops and things. Okay, so this is not the machine's fault. This is because you didn't thread it correctly. When you thread the machine down the first groove of the from the top down and before you go up, this is where the tension discs are. If you thread the machine with the presser foot down, those discs are closed and the thread never gets in it, and you will get these results. If you thread too gently and you just gently put the thread in there, the thread doesn't get in the tension discs close without the thread in it, and voila, big hairy loops. And again, this is on the bobbin, so everybody blames the tension and then they blame their bobbin, they go try to fix it down here. Trust me, you need to rethread the top of your machine, and as I say in my classes these days, you need to thread the machine with purpose. So that means if you hold the thread with your right hand and thread the machine with your left, it's nice and tight when you do it. And you can even do our little tension test. And the tension test is when the presser foot is up, the thread is loose. And when the presser foot is down, the thread is tight. That means you will not have this issue at all. That means you threaded it correctly. So just make sure you thread the machine with purpose, not too gentle. And did you see me do that? I kind of sometimes recommend people floss their machines and kind of make sure it gets where it needs to be. And I guarantee you, you will not have tension issues like this. But remember, if it is something not looking right or the thread breaks, it might just need a new needle. You might need the needle size that's better for the thread. You might need to clean out down below, and maybe you haven't had your machine serviced in a while. That could be a problem, and that would be the easiest solution is have your local Pfaff store go through and clean and service the entire machine. Trust me, it makes a difference. Plus the machine is going to last longer if you take care of it. So remember, don't blame tension, but if you need to adjust it, you will know that you can make it tighter or looser depending on what you're doing.